and appointee to the Fairfax County Commission for Women. Please help me welcome returning panelist Michele Jones to our panel.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an opportunity, a treat to be here.
Thank you so much. Now, heading into our panel discussion this evening, the storytelling devices used to capture abuse without sensationalism. So, let's provide a general definition of sensationalism. According to the New Oxford American Dictionary, sensationalism is the following, especially in journalism: the use of exciting or shocking stories or language at the expense of accuracy in order to provoke public interest or excitement. That's not what we're doing here. We are storytelling and using storytelling devices to capture the horrific effects of domestic violence and intimate partner violence without sensationalism. On to our three main discussion topics for this webinar. How is tension built through direction, dialogue, and atmosphere? We'll be discussing the intentional choice around flashbacks, silence, or body language, and what is the importance of showing emotional abuse, not just physical. So we'll be tackling these three areas this evening during our discussion. Building tension. A couple of clips from our trailer. We have two of our actresses, and I'll let Vanessa tell us these two actresses, their names, and the characters that they play in the Atonement trailer.
Okay, so thank you. So we have to the left is Deanna Rochelle. She plays the character Emily Thornton. And to the right is her childhood best friend, Nicole Carter, who's played by Jennifer Janae Tom.
Thank you so much. So our first discussion area, how is tension built through direction, dialogue, and atmosphere? From the website nofilmschool.com. This website gives some basic ways to create, build, or even improve the process of building tension in a screenplay. The article from the website entitled 11 Ways to Improve Tension in Your Scenes includes the following: raise the stakes, create uncertainty, use foreshadowing, build suspense, create conflict, limit resources, use the unknown, increase the pace, create a sense of danger, use contrast, and create a ticking clock. So those are just some of the highlights that were mentioned in the article. To narrow things down a bit and to discuss a few more specific ways to build tension in a screenplay, the website industrialscripts.com states, writing tension in your screenplay effectively ensures an audience's anticipation of the future of your characters and the outcome of your plot. Industrial Scripts offers the following. It's also shown on the slide. Instability and dramatic irony. What this means, the audience knows information that the characters do not. Lack of control. What this means, by removing aspects of control for the character, you increase an audience's inability to influence the course of events. Verbal responses. As an example, pushing a conversation to continue by asking threatening questions. Cross-cutting, switching back and forth between scenes, different situations happening at the same time. And of course, no explanation needed for action sequences and/or arguments. So, Vanessa, our series creator, I'd like to take a few minutes to discuss the development of building tension in a screenplay, movie, or film, specifically as it relates to the Atonement series, of course. So using one of the 6 categories that are showing on the slide, can you provide an example of maybe one way or method that you used in order to build tension, either for one of the protagonists or even, an antagonist, or even the audience for that matter?
Okay.
Vanessa?
Well, I won't talk too much because I know we got to move forward and ahead. But you know, with the story, because this story, you know, came from a short film and then it moved to a feature, and I decided to write it, make it out of a series. So basically, in order to convey what we need to make it more real, I've had to you know, do a lot of research to build that tension between the actors, and the actors on their own, when we did the pilot, to have a better understanding of domestic violence, was they had to do a lot of reading and their own research to really get into the character. So,
Mhm.
you know, when I say arguments, action sequences, there is a lot of action. There's a lot of verbal responses through the dialogue, and there's also silence as well, because this, you know, it helps build the tension. When we did the pilot, it was also the atmosphere, creating the mood with the lighting and making sure that, you know, there was an emotional kind of atmosphere of like disturbance. It's a psychological thriller overall, but
Mhm.
we wanted to make it as authentic as possible instead of commercial or type of project. So we brought on Brandon Wooten, who's over. He has a consulting company, and but he's also has experience in working as a detective with domestic violence and issues.
Mm.
But he took a look at the script and really had some questions, and we, you know, basically went over those and tried to make it as real as possible, because I think that's
Absolutely.
very important. Authenticity is
Absolutely.
very important. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for that input. And for Michelle, even though we're discussing the technical aspects of filmmaking and bringing a story to life on screen, there, of course, as you well know, there is a real life traumatic and sometimes deadly aspect of domestic violence and intimate partner violence. So when we speak of some of these issues, including lack of control, verbal responses, and even arguments, we're interested in exploring how these things manifest themselves in a domestic violence or intimate partner violence scenario, and more specifically, the process of abuse and what a survivor may be subjected to, and how that individual should navigate through the conflict and the trauma. And just a few minutes, Michelle.
Sure, sure. Well, you know, you're talking about tension. So
Yes.
I want to commend Vanessa in visually telling the story of what an individual may experience, because it needs to really resonate with authenticity to the viewer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because we're talking about a serious matter here. So
Absolutely.
there's a theatrical tension, and in real life, there is literally a tension. And
Yes.
we call it a cycle of, like, literally you're walking on eggshells. So that the individual, so whether it's emotional, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that too,
Hmm.
because most people have a tendency to think, the world does, is that abuse is just physical.
Correct.
But our charge here, especially through the Time to Fly Foundation in almost 25 years, is really educating people that it's multi-layered. It's verbal, it's emotional, it's psychological, it is the
Hmm.
SA, and it is physical.
Hmm.
The physical can heal. That's great. But if those other levels are not addressed, that individual is still severely wounded. Okay. And it
Yes,
starts with
absolutely.
attention. So the tension starts with um, she or he, and I know in this case we're talking about women, but men can also be abused. So, but
Hmm.
our focus in our organization is working with the women and the children, and there are organizations that specialize in working with men who are in abusive situations, which is about
Hmm.
6% of the population. So, but with that said, is that there's a tension building. So she may be wondering, okay, did I keep the house clean enough? Am I pleasing my
Hmm.
partner to such a degree? And the partner will withhold and do things such as withhold affection,
Hmm.
or give short or curt answers, or give menacing looks, like you didn't do that right. And so that builds a tension within the home. Am I really doing enough to please him or her? And then when the expectations are not met, then the other person, then the outburst happens, whether it's a physical outburst, or emotional, which means I'm going to pull myself away from you for a matter of days and make you feel like a punished child in the corner. Okay.
Mm,
Or
mm,
I'm going to just castigate you with a barrage of words that you feel this tall by the time I've finished talking to you. Okay. And then that's
yes.
followed with a cycle of, oh, baby, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Or, you made me do that. I had a bad day. It was just
Mm,
I was off. Let's make up and do it again. Okay. I'm so
mhm.
sorry. It settles down, but then the whole cycle starts again.
Yes, yes.
So we've seen the cycle, but without effective keys, the individuals will, we call it in my book, the dance of destruction. So
Mm,
without proper intervention, they do the same dance and the tango one more
mhm,
time over and over, and without proper intervention, and it has to be done the right way, without proper intervention, it just escalates. So instead
mhm,
of being maybe once a month, it'll grow to once a week. And then it'll
mm,
grow from once a week to twice a month. And then from there, twice a month, if it does not stop, that becomes a lifestyle.
mhm,
365, we're doing the same destructive dance. So I want
mhm.
to commend you for even trying to bring that type of intensity to the screen to educate people, to let them know that it is real.
Thank
Yes, absolutely,
you.
absolutely. And we thank you for your expertise, Michelle, and breaking that down for us this
Mhm.
evening.
Yes.
And it's definitely it's a cycle, it's cyclical, and unfortunately, sometimes it does turn deadly. And we're so happy for the work that you do. Flashbacks, silence, and body language. We'll touch on this aspect as well. So just to define flashbacks in a screenplay, a flashback is a narrative device that interrupts the current timeline to present past events. The flashback should ultimately serve to advance the story or reveal new information. According to the website industrialscripts.com, a flashback can encapsulate a movie's theme in brilliant and effective ways. It can also unlock a previously closed off character, unlocking a theme. Other ways include the following: compare and contrast the past with the present, explain the narrative while completing the picture of the protagonist's state of mind, or accentuate characterization and provide a backstory, provide a window into a character's past trauma. So, Vanessa, can you give one example of how flashbacks are used to enhance the storyline of the Atonement series?
Sure. Well, it starts off in the present, and then in the second scene, it goes into the flashback. I use flashbacks throughout the entire season one to help tell the story, to give a foreshadowing of what's to come, but also to reveal how this person became who or she is in the present. And as we look at one of our two of our lead actors, characters, Emily Thornton and Jack Thornton, in the flashbacks, we're seeing their childhood. They
Hmm.
experienced a childhood trauma. For example, in Emily's case, is childhood trauma that occurred when she was little and between her parents. So I won't give away
Hmm.
too much,
Sure,
but
sure, yes.
but also as regarding Jack Thornton, his trauma is mainly well, PTSD, having to serve in the Gulf War, and also
Mm-hmm.
family dynamics. So we see him. There's a turning point for him, and we see that in the story. So flashbacks to me, it's really usually when I write a script, I want some type of familiarity the person or the character to be more three-dimensional, where you can understand what somewhat seeing what this character is coming from, and to make them more real